This is the HPT.
Sit right down, put on your poker face. You with the big dogs now. Better bring your best game. Talk trash all you want. To me, it's all the same. You won't leave with much when you come in second place. And I'm the one with the stack showing 7 to the jack. Gonna cry to your mama, cause I'm sending you back. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. Last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HPT. I'm James Larson, joined by the beautiful Maria Ho. This week, we conclude from the Commerce Casino right outside of Los Angeles, California. And on tonight's show, Maria, we will crown a new champion.
James, as expected, we've had a wonderful week here at Commerce Casino. The cash games have been juicy, the weather has been fantastic, and the tournament area has, of course, been packed.
Well, Maria, we'd love to stay here forever, but the tournament has to come to an end at some point. Today, the final 5 will take a seat under the lights and play down to a champion.
That lucky player will walk away with over $160,000, so all these players will be looking to climb that pay ladder.
A lot of money on the line. Let's check out the payouts and the chip counts and get right to the action.
And all of these 5 players are probably pretty happy to see that even the 5th place finisher is going to take home over $40,000. But like you said, we got a lot of money up top that they're playing for, $157,000 and change going to the winner. And another 6-figure payday for the 2nd spot as well. Jeff Madsen, coming into 5-handed play, is our chip leader with just under $6.5 million. Amit's got $4 million, and obviously a huge contender. Doug Lee just under $4 million as well. And our short stack, Luther, he's down but not out. He's got 8 big blinds.
We talk about it all the time. It's truly life-changing money here on the HPT. If you want to play one of our events, you can visit us online at hptpoker.com. Blinds are $50,000, $100,000 with a $15K ante. Cards are in the air. The button is on the 6th seat of Amit, so under the gun will be Alex Greenblatt. Alex looks like he's loosening up a little bit here at this final table, Maria.
Yeah, and although Alex has had, great success on the tournament circuit, he's playing with some real heavy hitters here. So, you definitely have to wonder with all of the experience between Amit and Jeff and even Doug combined, it just seems like Alex and Luther kind of have an uphill battle here.
And he's only 23 years old, so a lot of success at a young age. He's going to raise it up with pocket 7s. We're going to go to 200,000 chips. Over to Luther now.
He likes the first card he sees and the second card, Ace King. That's obviously going to be good enough for Luther to move in his short stack.
He was looking for a spot, and he woke up with Big Slick, so this is going to be where he gets all his chips into the middle.
And obviously, Alex is going to call here, so it will be Luther's life on the line here, and it's a classic coin flip. We've seen this a million times before. It happens a lot in tournament poker.
And we go to the flop. And it is Queen, 8, Deuce, Rainbow.
So Alex's pair of 7s are still in the lead. Luther is looking for an ace or a king here.
We go to the turn card, and the turn card is another 7, the 7 of clubs, so that's a set of 7s, and that's going to do it for Luther.
His hand's locked up for Alex now. Luther is drawing dead, and he's going to go home, our 5th place finisher, taking home over $40,000. It's a lot of money here, and, Luther hasn't been playing a whole lot, so this is probably a really good return for him.
Just over $40,000 for Luther. Congratulations to him, and I'm sure we will see him down the road at another HPT event. When we come back, we've got more final table action. 4 players remain. We'll find out who our new champion is going to be. You're watching the HPT. Welcome back to the HPT. It's James and Maria. We're having a lot of fun tonight at the Commerce Casino right outside of Los Angeles, California. Maria, things are going to get to be a lot of fun now. Only 4 players remain. Let's get back to the action.
Jeff Madsen now has the chip lead, and a pretty significant one at that, with $6.5 million to Doug Lee's $5 million. Amit has $3.5 million, and Alex Greenblatt is our short stack, but he definitely still has a lot of opportunities to increase his chip stack.
Blinds now $50,000, $100,000 with a $15K ante. Let's get back to the action. Button will be on Amit, so under the gun will be Alex. Alex looks down at 4 deuce of spades. He's going to fold.
And I'm not surprised to see these 4 players be the 4 that remain. Honestly, they have the most experience between them. They're all really good players in their own right. So it'll be interesting to see as we get down to our next HPT champion how this all shakes out.
Amit on the button raises to 200,000 with a suited connector, 5-4 of hearts. And now we move over to Jeff Madsen in the small blind.
And there's no easy spots here. There's a good player sitting to the left of every single player remaining. So, you're definitely going to be playing a lot of pots you have to expect to get involved.
Jeff makes the call with pocket 3s, and Doug from the big blind calls the 100K as well. And the flop is a queen, 6 deuce, couple of clubs.
So Doug now has flopped a flush draw. Amit has a gut shot straight draw. He's going to need one of Jeff's 3s to actually complete his straight.
And Jeff is first to act here with his pocket 3s.
And that's interesting here. Looks like Jeff wants to lead into both players after just calling from the small blind.
And he's going to make a bet of 310,000 chips.
And Doug beats him into the pot with that call. He's like, got a flush draw, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's see the next card.
Doug quickly calls, and Amit gets out of the way. So we're heads up now to the turn. And the turn card, the 9 of spades. Be interesting to see what Jeff does now as he's first to act.
These are just very generalized timing tells, but usually when someone calls fairly quick on the flop, that represents weakness to me. So I just want to make sure Jeff's going to keep that in mind, although, you never know what it means.
Both players checking. The queen of hearts comes on the river. Jeff's going to check again.
I think Jeff just wants to go to showdown with his hand. And if Doug decides to bluff here, I think Jeff might actually look him up. I think that it's hard for Jeff to put Doug on a queen here. I think he thinks Doug would have probably bet the turn with top pair.
And Doug makes a bet of 225,000 chips. I can't see Jeff calling here.
And Doug always does this really small bet sizing. And, Jeff has seen Amit catch Doug on a bluff with a similar sizing before. And, he's giving him really good odds to call. If Jeff's wrong, it's 225K. But if he's right, he wins a pot of $1.5 million.
Jeff still deciding.
You still just want to make the best decision possible. And that's why I think Jeff is taking his time. But I really wouldn't be surprised if he just looks him up.
And he makes the call. And he's going to find out that he's the winner of this hand. 2 pair, queens and trays. And Doug shows the busted flush. He shows his 8-4, but Jeff is going to drag this pot of just over 1.7 million in chips. This is what makes Jeff Madsen a great poker player. It's looking up guys like that and making calls like he did just there.
And you heard what Doug said about, I should have bet a little more. And, he should have, because if he did, I think Jeff would have had a much tougher time making that call.
The button is on Jeff Madsen now, so under the gun will be Amit in seat number 6. He's going to fold.
Ooh, huge hand here for Jeff. 4-handed, you wake up with kings. You're pretty happy about that.
Now it's a matter of how much he's going to raise here, Maria.
Jeff just a little bit more than mins it. 225,000 on the button with kings.
Doug's going to make the call from the small blind with queen 7, and from the big blind, Alex folds.
I don't know if I like this defend from Doug with queen 7 from the small blind. I mean, I understand that the ranges get wider when you're short-handed, but that's quite the tough hand to play against Jeff Madsen in position.
Flop is ace 7 deuce rainbow. Doug checks over to Jeff.
And I think Jeff feels fairly comfortable. He has the best hand here because if Doug did have an ace, he probably would have 3-bet in pre-flop, but Jeff decides to pot control and check it back here.
So with the 7 of hearts on the turn, Doug makes 3 of a kind, and he bets 220,000. This could spell disaster for Jeff.
Pretty lucky turn card there for Doug. He was probably going to be paying Jeff off till the river here with just middle pair, but now he's actually in the lead, and unfortunately for Jeff, he does have to make this call.
And now we go to the river. It's the 8 of hearts.
And this is kind of the point where, Doug's constant bluffing might get him paid off in this situation.
And the bet is 675,000 chips over to Jeff Madsen.
But it's interesting because Doug had just said on the previous hand, I probably should have bet more to get you off your hand. And this time he is betting more, but he's doing it for value. So it's interesting to see what level Jeff thinks Doug's on and how he wants to interpret this bigger bet size this time around.
Jeff with 3 World Series of Poker bracelets.
Yeah, and Jeff can't really find a fold here. I can't really blame him. He's going to see that he got unlucky there with Doug making trips on the turn.
And he does make the call, and Doug is the winner of the hand. He's happy. Little fist pump there. Yeah, very good turn card for Doug, the 7 of hearts there to make 3 of a kind.
I'm just loving the play that I am seeing so far. Come back for more for your learning experience here from this final table at Commerce Casino.
Welcome back to the HPT. It's James Larson and Maria Ho as we are broadcasting from the Commerce Casino right outside of Los Angeles, California. 4 players remain. Min cash right now, $53,430, but up top, Maria, just over $157,000.
And Jeff Madsen looks to be in pretty good shape to take down this HPT title. You never know, though, but Jeff does have the chip lead right now with $6.4 million. Doug Lee behind him with $5.6 million. Amit with $3.3 million. And Alex here with $2 million.
Lines 50,000, 100,000 with a 15K ante. And the button is on Doug Lee. First to act will be Jeff Madsen under the gun. Jeff with $4.3 million in total career winnings.
Jeff, obviously a very accomplished player here, and with the chip lead, I think he's the person to be feared at the moment.
Looks down at ace 4.
He's going to open up the action here, raising it to $225,000.
Over to Alex Greenblatt now. He looks down at 6 tray of spades. He's going to fold.
And this is kind of the difference that you see between, Doug Lee had once defended from the small blind with 6-4 suited, and this time Alex folds with 6-3 suited because, like I said, you don't really want to be defending too wide out of position against a really good player in position.
Amit makes the call from the big blind, and the flop comes Jack 8-8, couple of hearts.
So both Amit and Jeff with this flop here. Amit checks it over to Jeff, who also checks back.
Both players check. We go to the turn card. It's the tray of clubs.
And I think the reason why Jeff checked back that flop is, Amit's a good player. Amit can definitely have hands that hit that flop in his range. And I think Jeff is just making sure to play small ball here because there's no reason to c-bet that flop because if you get check raised, you don't really have a lot of options.
And a lot of money on the line here, Maria, so everybody's calculating every decision. Amit checks. Now over to Jeff. He's going to fire some chips, $305,000 to be exact.
So Jeff is going to go for the delayed c-bet here, meaning he didn't c-bet the flop, but he does bet this turn now. And Amit was pretty ready to give up on this pot, so Jeff is going to take it down.
Maria, do you see Jeff kind of taking control of this final table?
Yeah, I think anytime you have the chip lead and you're playing shorthanded, I think you do have to make sure that you're continuing to apply pressure on the rest of your players, even though he's up against some really good players as well.
Buttons on the 9 seat of Alex, so under the gun will be Doug Lee.
And like I said, with these 4 players remaining, you've got to expect and anticipate a lot of action. None of these players afraid to play. They all want to make sure that they're not just letting themselves blind off and bleed away their chips, that they are staying active, trying to increase their stack.
Doug's going to raise it up to $260,000 with pocket 9s.
Alex looks down at ace-10 offsuit and decides to 3-bet shove his 20 big blind stack. And obviously, Doug is going to call here with 9s against a 20 big blind stack. You definitely can't fold that hand.
Amit and Jeff get out of the way.
I call.
And Doug makes the call, so we're going to go to the flop here as Doug is in the lead with his pocket 9s, but 2 overs that Alex has against him.
And another flip here, a huge flip. The winner of this pot will take a 4.1 million chip pot down. Very significant here with 4 players left.
The flop is 10-8 deuce, so Alex goes in the lead with his pair of 10s.
Yeah, and now Doug is not too happy because he's down to 2 outs unless he could get running straight cards. And that's one of them. The 7 of diamonds makes things very interesting. It's never easy in poker. Now Doug has a lot more outs with an open-ended straight draw, and he could also hit a 9 still.
And the river comes the deuce of hearts. So Alex is going to win that hand and keep his hopes alive to take down this HPT championship. 23-year-old Alex Greenblatt doubles up to keep his tournament hopes alive.
Let's take a break from the action here and go into our favorite segment on the show, A Poker Life with Doyle Brunson, brought to you by Double Down Casino. Visit www.doubledowncasino.com and receive 1 million virtual chips. Enter promo code HPT for Double Down. That's promo code HPT, the number 4, Double Down. This week on A Poker Life with Doyle Brunson, we talked to the godfather of poker, Texas Dolly, about how he got into a little bit, a lot bit trouble in Fort Worth.
They got us again at some place, and they threw us putting us in the back of a paddy wagon, and this cop kicked me. I didn't do anything. He kicked me, and when he did, I turned around, and boy, I belted him, and he went down, and here they all jumped on me naturally, and then they threw me on in the wagon, put me in jail, and then the next day they took me out to what they call the bull ring or something. They had all the cops sitting around, and they walked you around and around in a circle, and all the cops could see you. Said, now this big boy, he likes to whip cops. He says, and it was all, you want to try me, big boy? How about me? You want to go outside? All that stuff. And again, I didn't know what to do. But they let me out, and in the next 3 or 4 days, I got arrested 3 more times. I said, uh-oh. Said, this won't get it. Said, I'm getting out of here. And one of the guys that played at the game at the Diane, he was what you call a crossroader. He was traveling around. He was a very good poker player, and he had played with me, and I guess he liked the way I played. And he says, if you'll give me 25% of your action, he said, I'll take you around Texas and the South here and take you to these poker games and introduce you, and you can play. I said, okay, that's fine. So that's how I started out playing on what they call the Texas circuit.
Another fun story from Texas Dolly, Mr. Doyle Brunson. He was so great to sit down to and talk. We got to go to his house, him and his wife. They opened up their doors to us here on the HPT, and I want to say thanks to Doyle and the entire family. But really, we need to thank our sponsors of that segment of Poker Life, everybody over at Double Down Casino. Visit www.doubledowncasino.com and receive your exclusive HPT bonus offer of 1 million virtual chips. Enter promo code HPT for Double Down. That's promo code HPT for Double Down. You can also find Double Down Casino on Facebook, iOS, or Android. We'll be right back after these messages. You're watching the HPT.
Welcome back to the HPT. We are at Commerce Casino outside of Los Angeles, California. We've only got 4 players remaining from the starting 9, getting ever closer to crowning our next HPT champion. Let's get right back to the action. All of these 4 players would love to add an HPT title to their resume. Jeff Madsen looks to be in a good spot for that, though, as he has 6.6 million in chips. Alex has 4.8 million. Doug and Amit on the shorter side of things, but still very comfortable.
Maria, if you look at Alex Greenblatt here, his stack swing up 2.8 million, and now that the blinds and antes have gone up, you're seeing much bigger pots.
Absolutely. Blinds are 50,000, 100,000 with a 15K ante. Button starts on Jeff Madsen this hand.
And under the gun will be the 6th seat of Amit.
They seem all cute and cozy in their little corner here. It all ended up being everybody on the right side of your screen is left, and they haven't really spread out. They kind of like to sit right on top of each other, it seems.
Amit's going to fold under the gun. Now to the button we go, and Jeff Madsen. Jeff raises to 225,000. Not a lot of talk at this final table. Everybody's very serious, Maria.
Yeah, and I have to say, from my experience playing with Jeff and Amit a lot, they're definitely very serious, very intense players. So I'm not really surprised. They're obviously funny and talkative off the felt, but you got to respect their professionalism.
Doug is going to 3-bet now with his pocket kings to 565,000.
Obviously, kings is a huge hand to wake up with here, and because Jeff and Doug have tangled a lot at this final table, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jeff wanting to stand up to this 3-bet here by calling.
Alex gets out of the way, so we're on Jeff Madsen now.
Oh, wow, and he decides to go for the real stand-up of the 4-bet shove here.
And Jeff sees that he's in a little bit of trouble. Doug calls instantly with his pocket kings.
And he is going to see that he only has 3 outs. He needs to hit an ace here to eliminate Doug.
Now we're seeing a little emotion, Maria, as both players stand up. A huge pot here, and we go to the flop.
Doug's tournament life on the line here, 53,000 for the next player eliminated.
And the flop is 9-7-6, all diamonds.
That's an interesting flop. Neither player has a diamond, but that actually gives Jeff some more outs. He has a gut shot straight draw now. or an ace would help him as well. 7.3 million chip pot here. Very significant at this stage in the tournament.
And we go to the turn card. And the turn card is the 8 of spades.
And that spells disaster for Doug because now he can only hope to chop here, but he needs one of Jeff's 10 in order to chop.
Unbelievable, Maria. We go to the river. Boy, Doug just looks very upset. Deuce of clubs, so nothing for Doug. I think he's a little shocked.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate and a very unlucky way to go out here. He's going to take home $53,000 for his efforts, but, you know, you never want to go out on a bad beat there, and you know, that was pretty bad in a pretty important stage of the tournament.
Poker's not always fair, is it?
Nope, but now we are left with 3 players, all 3 of them really good, successful tournament players, so this is sure to be interesting.
Now the money really jumps up as third place now just over $72,000, $112,000 and change for second, and up top just over $157,000. We talk about it all the time, Maria. Truly life-changing cash.
I'm not really surprised to see these 3 players left. They're all young, they're all good at poker, and you know, I'm definitely hoping that each person is going to step up the aggression here.
First to act is Alex Greenblatt. He looks down at 10-8. Does the range of hands shift a little bit for each player now on what they're going to play, Maria?
Absolutely, and all of these players have some chips to play around with, so you probably will be seeing a lot of raising, a lot of re-raising, and you're never really going to be able to put any of these players on a hand.
And as you see, Alex raises to $200,000 with 10-8 offsuit. Amit gets out of the way, but Jeff calls with 9-7. And we go to the flop. The flop is 2 4s and a 3. First to act will be Jeff Madsen. He's going to check over to Alex. Will we see a continuation bet from Alex?
I think you will. I think this is a pretty safe flop for him to c-bet, but I think some players c-bet 100% of the time, but you also have to keep your opponent into consideration. Jeff is not somebody that, you know, a typical c-bet will be able to work on, so I think that's kind of why he decides to check back here.
8 of hearts comes on the turn. Jeff going to bet $310,000.
You know, if Alex didn't pair his 8 here on the turn, I think that bet from Jeff here on the turn would have worked. But now Alex is going to definitely call here. I don't see really any point in him raising.
He's going to make the call. Alex ahead in the hand with his 2 pair, 8s and 4s. We go to the river, and the river, the 9 of diamonds. So just like that.
So Jeff was bluffing on the turn, but now he's value betting on this river for sure. He bets $555,000 into a pot of over $1 million.
Real tough spot here for Alex, but he's going to make the call.
Yeah, unfortunately for Alex, he's going to see that he got rivered. You can't really fault Alex for calling here, but you also have to remember, is Jeff going to take this line as a bluff with this kind of board? Not always. And the rich keep getting richer as this pot goes Jeff's way. There's still a lot of poker to be played, especially among these 3 young guns, so don't forget to come back to HPT from Commerce Casino.
Welcome back to the HPT. It's James and Maria. We're having a great time tonight. We want to thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the HPT. Only 3 players remain, so let's head right back down to the final table and pick up the action.
Jeff has really taken the chip lead and extended it more and more as more players are getting eliminated. He's got 11.2 million. Alex Greenblatt has 3.6 million, and Amit has 2.6 million. All of these players really good, experienced tournament pros, so we'll have to see how this plays out.
Blinds are $50,000, $100,000 with a $15K ante. And Maria, this is really where it's fun for us. We're down to our final 3 players, $72,000 and change, the min cash, but up top just over $157,000.
And at this stage of the tournament, every pot is a very meaningful pot.
Looks like the players, Maria, are opening up a little bit now and talking to each other.
Yeah, I think that these 3 players are probably pretty familiar with each other. Definitely Amit and Jeff throughout the years on the circuit have played a lot of poker. I'm sure they've hung out after the tournament before as well. So it's kind of easy when you feel like you're at a table with your opponents, but they're also your friends too.
Ace-6 for Jeff Madsen. He's first. Do you start thinking about the money at this point, Maria? Do you start thinking about the title? Or is that something you just have to remove from your brain?
I think if you're a seasoned professional, you have to be able to remove that factor from consideration. But obviously, you know, it's hard to not get excited about a 6-figure payday.
Jeff's going to raise to $225,000. Alex folds. Now over to Amit. And he's going to make the call with Jack 10. Talked about it before. Up top for the champion, just over 157,000. The flop is 9-7 tray, couple of spades.
You know, Amit here has a gut shot straight draw, and Jeff just has ace high. There's a chance that Amit might just check raise Jeff here if Jeff decides to c-bet.
Action is on Jeff after Amit checks. Looks like he's going to reach for chips. And he does just that, and he bets 305,000.
And I think Amit either has to fold or commit himself to this hand.
And Amit is going to make the call. You know, we talked about money, Maria. There's a huge jump from third to second with 72,000 going up to 112. So every decision very important. King of Hearts comes on the turn. Amit's going to check.
And Amit's actually improved to a double gut shot here. A queen would also give him a straight along with the 8. Jeff still has nothing but ace high.
Amit would love to see a free card here, but I don't think he's going to get that opportunity. And Jeff is reaching for chips. He's going to put out a bet of 465,000. This might be a little too much for Amit to call.
Yeah, and I think Amit's trying to think, if I check jam here, would I be able to get Jeff to fold? Or did Jeff maybe hit this king on the turn and now he's going to be committed to calling?
And Amit does indeed make the call. Big river card coming up, a pot of over 2 million chips.
And it'd be interesting to see if Amit's trying to float twice here out of position and hoping to lead into Jeff and take this down on the river if he doesn't hit his straight.
And the king of spades comes on the river, so no luck for Amit as he checks over to Jeff.
Now there's a problem, because if Jeff checks back, then obviously Jeff is going to win this hand at showdown. But if Jeff bets, I wonder if there's any way Amit could get him off this hand.
And Jeff checks, and he's going to find out he's the winner. He may be a little surprised, too, but he's going to take down this pot of over 2 million chips.
And now Amit sees that, obviously, it's a lot easier when the cards are face up, that you could have gotten your opponent off of his hand. Feels like Alex seems pretty content to just sit back and watch the other two players play it out.
This episode of HPT is brought to you by Double Down Casino. Get started today with 1 million free virtual chips by visiting www.doubledowncasino.com. Enter promo code HPT for Double Down. That's promo code HPT for Double Down. You can also find Double Down Casino on Facebook, iOS, or Android stores. Well, Maria, we're seeing a lot of great poker here at the Commerce Casino, this nationally televised HPT Final Table. And when we come back, we will resume Final Table play. You're watching the HPT. Welcome back to the HPT. It's James Larson and Maria Ho reporting from the Commerce Casino right outside of Los Angeles, California. 3 players remain, and there's the chip count, Maria. On top is Jeff Madsen.
Jeff Madsen still in the lead, and a huge lead at that, with almost 13.5 million. Alex Greenblatt with just over 3 million, and our short stack here is Amit with 860,000, which represents 7 big blinds.
Blinds now 60,000, 120,000 with a 20K ante.
It's not at all surprising for me to see these 3 players left at Commerce Casino. There's always a great professional poker player contingent that comes out for events here in LA, making this a very tough final table to be at, and the toughest left in the final 3.
And Amit is first. He plays at the Commerce regularly. Says he shows up usually at 3 o'clock and doesn't leave till 1, 2 in the morning, and he plays the biggest no-limit game that they have. And he's going to shove all in here with pocket sixes.
And Alex makes the easy call with ace-king, and once again, another flip for somebody's tournament life here. Amit's seen a lot of flips in his lifetime as a poker player, so I am sure he's hoping to come out on the right side of this one.
Big hand here right now. Ace-king for Alex going up against the pocket sixes of Amit. So let's go ahead and see the flop. And the flop is 9-5 tray, a couple of hearts.
Good news for Amit. He's still ahead. He's vulnerable to 2 overcards here. An ace or a king will eliminate Amit.
Amit trying to double up. Turn card, the ace of clubs, Maria. Alex goes in the lead.
And that's an unfortunate turn of events. We've seen that happen a few times here at this final table, where the best hand on the flop changes on the turn.
So 2 cards left in the deck for Amit. 5 of hearts comes on the river, and that's going to do it. Alex is going to win the hand with his 2 pair aces and 5s, eliminating Amit in 3rd place.
Amit's a seasoned pro, and he's going to take this elimination like a seasoned pro. I have a lot of respect for Amit's game, and he is a very tough player to play against and also a very consistent grinder here at Commerce. Congratulations to Amit taking home over $72,000, another well-played tournament by him.
So it's heads-up poker now. Jeff Madsen and Alex Greenblatt. 2 great poker players, and even though the chips are a little lopsided, I expect some good play down the stretch here. Jeff's going to raise it with his pocket 7s to 260,000 chips. And Alex is going to make the call with a suited King 10 of diamonds. We go to the flop. It's Queen 10 Tray Rainbow.
It's a pretty good flop for Alex. He's paired middle pair.
And Alex is first, and he's going to check over to Jeff.
He decides to go for a bet of 280,000. No doubt Alex is going to call here.
And Alex does make the call. And we go to the turn card, Maria, the 7 of diamonds.
Wow, and what a card that is. It just got a lot interesting. Jeff has turned a set of 7s, but Alex has a pair of 10s and a flush draw. We will definitely be seeing a river card here.
Absolutely. And Alex is going to check over to Jeff. What do you bet here?
I think I'm going to try to go for a half pot size bet here if I were Jeff.
And Jeff is going to bet 530,000 chips.
He bets just under half pot, and I think obviously given Alex having middle pair and a flush draw, he's at least going to call. I don't really see him raising here to turn his hand into a bluff of any kind. I don't see the value in that for him.
It's heads-up poker at its best here at the Commerce Casino. And Alex is going to make the call. So like you said, we will see the river card.
If Alex hits a diamond, he would be ahead in this hand.
And the river card, Maria, the 8 of diamonds.
And you know, Alex is ahead on the flop, then Jeff takes the lead on the turn, and now Alex once again has the best hand on the river.
Then Alex checks the river, now over to Jeff Madsen.
And nobody can fault Jeff here for value betting a set of 7s here, but he's going to be pretty surprised when Alex check raises all in.
Jeff puts out a bet of 1.225, and Alex is going to raise all in. Action back to Jeff Madsen.
And you know, it's only 1.3 million for him to call. There's almost 6 million in the pot. Jeff can't possibly fold a set of 7s, even though he's pretty sure he has to be beat here. It's just really hard to fold for that much more.
And he makes the call. Alex flips over the King 10. And Jeff knows that he's going to lose this hand.
And that actually is going to even up the score a bit between their chip counts.
And the plot thickens here, Maria, at the Commerce Casino. Lines at 60,000, 120,000 with a 15K ante.
Both players over 70 big blinds deep now. So that will make for a very interesting heads-up match. Both of these players aren't going to just give away this title and the first place prize.
Alex looks down at a suited King-Queen, and he's going to raise to 260,000. Heads up, Maria, such a different animal when it comes to poker. You start with 9, now it's just mano-y-mano.
Yeah, there's a lot more to consider when you play heads up. You obviously are going to be involved in almost every single hand. You're going to have to start calling more thinly, raising wider. There's just a lot more to take into consideration.
And the flop is Jack 9-8, couple of clubs.
Huge flop for Alex. He has a straight draw, a flush draw, 2 overs. There's really no cards in the deck that can't help him at this point, but it's Jeff who did pair up with a pair of 9s.
And Jeff's going to bet 300,000 chips.
And Jeff decides to lead in to Alex here, who was the pre-flop aggressor, with a bet.
And Alex isn't going anywhere. He's going to raise it up to 725,000.
And Alex decides that he has so much equity in this hand with all of his draws that he might as well just go ahead and pump this pot up.
And Jeff is going to make the call.
And I think Jeff calls here because he sees that the board is very draw heavy and he wants to see if a blank comes on the turn, because that'll probably make him feel a little bit better about the strength of his hand.
And the turn card is another Jack, this time the Jack of Hearts.
And I think with Jeff calling Alex's raise on the flop, if Jeff checks here, I believe we'll see Alex check back.
And Jeff's going to check over to Alex.
No, instead it looks like Alex wants to continue here and maybe try to represent this jack instead of the draw, which he actually has.
And Alex is going to make a bet of 1.122 million chips.
And now Jeff kind of has to think to himself, does Alex have the draw or does Alex have the jack? Because Jeff knows if he calls here on the turn, he's probably going to have to call a lot of rivers.
And he makes the call. Are you surprised at that, Maria?
I'm not that surprised because when you're heads up, you do have to make calls that are a little bit tougher with a lesser holding.
And the river card is the 6 of hearts.
And you know, that's a blank as far as Jeff is concerned, so I don't really see him folding now. But you know, he might have to believe Alex here if Alex decides to triple barrel on this hand, firing another river bet.
And there he goes, 2.6 million.
And you know, sometimes you call on the turn wanting to reevaluate on the river, and when your opponent is showing that he wants to bet all 3 streets, it definitely makes you rethink if you have the best hand. The river's the toughest street to play in poker, obviously, and you want to make the best decision possible. Jeff doesn't want to give away his chips here, but little does Jeff know if he calls, he would win. Alex trying his best to put on a poker face here.
And a lot of money on the line, as we know. So every decision is so important, and Jeff is going to lay it down.
Wow, that is a great play by Alex. He got Jeff to lay it down. And you know, we can't really fault Jeff for folding that hand, but I'm sure when he's watching this back, he might regret it.
This thing is far from over. It's Jeff and Alex. Who's going to be our new HPT champion? Don't go too far. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the HPT. It's James Larson and the lovely Maria Ho. After a week here at the Commerce Casino right outside of Los Angeles, California, we're finally mano-a-mano. It's heads-up poker. Will it be Jeff or will it be Alex? Let's head down to the final table.
Jeff Madsen and Alex Greenblatt pretty close in chips here. Jeff had a huge lead at the start of heads-up play, but Alex was able to double up through him. So now it's the 9.8 million of Jeff to about the 7.8 million of Alex.
Maria for the champion. He'll take home just over 157,000, but not too shabby for second, 112 and change. Jeff Madsen, he's trying to add to his total career winnings, just over 4.3 million for him, and I know he would love an HPT title to go along with that. Blinds are 60,000, 120,000 with a 20K ante. And Jeff is going to raise it to 260,000 with Queen 5 of hearts. Both players very young. Jeff at 28 years old and Alex just 23 years old. I have no idea what it would feel like to win this kind of money when I was 23. All right, pocket tens for Alex. He's going to re-raise to 650,000. Alex Greenblatt, Maria, this is his third final table. He got second place at our event at Golden Gates in Blackhawk, Colorado, so he's hoping to one-up that and take down this title.
Jeff is definitely going to make it tough for him. As we know, Jeff is a great poker player, and he's been in this spot before, having won 3 WSOP bracelets. He's no stranger to heads-up play. And Jeff taking his time contemplating this decision, and he does decide to re-raise here. I think Queen 5 of hearts is one of those hands where you want to try to maybe get aggressive on your opponent pre-flop. You're not really sure how well it's going to flop, so calling the 3-bet is not necessarily the best line.
And we're obviously expecting the shove here now from Alex, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Alex with 10s heads up, you really have no choice. It's a lot of big blinds to get in there, but it's such a strong hand in heads up play.
It's a big hand of brewing here at the Commerce Casino. And that is a re-raise to 2.5 million. Back over to Jeff.
And obviously Alex is 4-bet getting it in here. If Jeff decides to 5-bet shove, let's see what Jeff is going to do. And this is kind of a thing with younger poker players. They like to do this whole click it back and forth, raise, re-raise. This time Alex has a real hand though, but we'll see if Jeff wants to pull the trigger here.
And Maria, both players love the cash, but they both want to be our next HPT champion.
And Jeff decides he thinks that Alex doesn't have anything, so he wants to re-raise all in here. But unfortunately, Alex does have a hand, and now Jeff is looking for a queen or some hearts here. Otherwise, he's going to double up Alex and be in rough shape.
Huge pot. Alex ahead with the pocket tens going up against the queen 5 of Jeff. And here goes the flop, Maria. Ace, 9, 8, couple of hearts.
And that's kind of the best case scenario for Jeff here. He's flopped a flush draw. Alex's 10 still in the lead, but as you could see, the percentages are quite close, with Jeff also having an overcard with the queen.
Alex looks a little nervous. He's ahead in the hand, but he looks a lot nervous, Maria. And the turn card is the ace of spades.
So now Jeff needs a queen or a heart to win this title and take down the $157,000 in cash. Otherwise, Alex is going to have Jeff in a real tough spot.
And the river card, the 6 of hearts on the river.
Wow, Jeff decided to get a little feisty pre-flop with this hand, and he ended up getting lucky. He's going to be our newest HPT champion, taking down the title here at Commerce Casino, but you got to give it up to Alex Greenblatt. He played a great game.
He played great. For him, another second place, but Maria, a nice little payday, just over $112,000. Never fun to go out that way, but the river is the river.
I'm sure he can't feel that bad about his second place finish, as well as taking home all of that cash. We're going to go down to the floor where James is talking to him about how he felt he played here today.
Once again, for you on the HPT, a final table, nothing wrong with that. Second place, nothing wrong with that. I know you wanted to improve. I know you wanted to win this thing, but
I
you got to
did.
be happy with how you played all day.
Yeah, no regrets. I think I did everything I could. Don't really think I made any mistakes. Just couldn't hold.
Yeah. 2 HPT final tables and 2 second places.
Yeah.
Nothing too shabby.
No, second's not bad money. It's not first, but I'll take it.
All right, folks, do me a favor. Give a big round of applause for Alex. He's going out in second place with a 6-figure payday.
Our newest HPT champion is Jeff Madsen. Jeff has an extremely impressive tournament resume to speak of, but now he could add HPT champion to that as well. Let's go down to the floor where James is standing by to talk to Jeff.
Now joined with our newest HPT champion, his name, Jeff Madsen. He bested the field here, and he's going home with over $157,000 and the bear. Jeff, it's all over now. How do you feel?
I feel really good. You know, I came as a short stack, so when you come in like that, it just, moving up spots, anything is good, and I managed to win double up right away, and then I kind of just went from there. Pretty happy with my play. I think there's a couple spots that, I played big pots where I didn't need to, but that's kind of the nature of my style, so.
Absolutely. All right, now, Jeff, I know you've got a lot of poker accomplishments. How does it feel now to be an HPT champion?
Feels great. I mean, anytime, you're on a new tour, like I really haven't played many of these, and I know about them. They're great tournaments, so it's great to be kind of, an ambassador in a way to win this event, especially at the Commerce, one of my home casinos. And obviously Matt Savage is a great tournament director, so good to win one of his big events, for sure.
Now, 157,000 plus, that's pretty impressive, but how about that little bear down there?
Yeah.
I kind of liked it. Why don't we let's hand him the bear.
Hand me the bear.
Let's give him a round of applause, folks. You're going home with the cash and the bear.
Yeah, it's cute. Yeah, I mean, money's important, but honestly for me, it's about winning tournaments and, the prestige of just being a good tournament player and getting results out there. So the money's good, but the bear does mean something to me too, for sure. It's cute. Look at it.
It is cute. I interviewed him the other day. It's very cute. All right, congratulations, Jeff. And you really played good. And I just want to honestly say that you deserve this. You deserve this championship, and I'm very happy for you. So that is our newest HPT champion, joining myself and Matt Savage.
Wow, Maria, what a week we have had here at the Commerce Casino. We've seen some awesome poker. And how about that heads-up match between Jeff and Alex?
Well, you know, Jeff is obviously a very seasoned professional. He has so much on his tournament resume to speak of that it's no surprise to me that he ended up ahead in this heads-up battle. But of course, Alex played great as well. This was just a really tough final table.
And congratulations to all the players that were at the final table. And if you're watching this and you think you've got the skills to do this exact same thing and try to take down the Unreal Cash, do me a favor and check out our webpage. Just head on over to hptpoker.com. We'd love to see you at an event, and maybe you'll be at that final table like I always talk about, playing for the Unreal Cash. She's Maria Ho, I'm James Larson, and we'll see you next time on the HPT.
Oh, I can wait you out, but I'll take you down. And I'm the one with the stack showing 7 to the jack. Gonna cry to your mama, cause I'm sending you back. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. Last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand.